Welcome to another episode of the Making of Champions Season 4. I am pleased, honored to have Coach Kenny Giles, the Director of Cross Country Track and Field from the Norfolk State University, representing the MEAC Conference. Welcome, Coach Giles.
Hey, Coach Price, I tell you, man, thanks for having me on. Hey, man, I'd have made it now, man. I'm on your I'm on your show, your podcast or whatever. I heard so many great things about it, man. This is better than being on ESPN. I've made it now.
Man, hey, I had to get you on here. I've been trying to get with you, get you on here earlier on. I was trying to get you on season 2. But I never could connect, especially when I came out to the West Coast. It made it even more difficult. But I'm glad we linked up at the convention and were able to get this done, because I definitely, to have you not be on here would have been a travesty, you know.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate it. And thanks for the kind words.
Oh, man, it's nothing but love and what you've accomplished. You know, you are what that sign says, the making of champions. You've done it. You're in your, correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes I can get some mistakes, but you're in your 18th year, the Director of Track and Field Cross Country, and over cross country, you're in your 22nd year.
You hit it right on the head, man.
Okay.
Yeah. 22nd year. That's correct. Yes.
Man, in that time, man, I remember just watching when I was in the conference at South Carolina State and at Bethune-Cookman. You had a precedent run, man. And from 2000, let me see if I get my things right here. 2000 to 2006, you were cross-country champions, then came back in 2008 to 2011, cross-country champions on the men's side. Went on to win again in 21, 22 on the cross-country side. And then 2006 to 2012, swept the MEAC indoor and outdoor championships, and then came back again in 21, 22, again, swept the indoor and outdoor MEAC championships. Man, is there something that you can't do?
Well, I tell you, man, it just tell you that we've had a lot of support. I've had a lot of support along the way from the administration. You know, I've had great athletic directors, you know, starting with Marty Miller. You know, everybody know that I was his guy, and now we've transformed into Melody Webb. She's the first female athletic director in Norfolk State's history. She's doing an outstanding job, and, you know, we can't do it without the student athletes. And, you know, I tell the coaches all along, I don't care how great of a coach you think you are, but if you don't have the premium athletes in this sport, I don't know how it is in football, basketball, baseball, any other sport, but in track and field, you're going to struggle. So you got to have the athletes. And
you see that we had 14 all first team All-Americans. You had over 100 individual conference champions, and over right there at 400 all MEAC honorees. Hey, you're right about getting the athlete, but yet, you know, it takes a staff and a director to notice that style of those athletes out there and bring them in, and then how you develop them to be to keep going through the years of that high excellence.
Well, you know, the thing is that, you know, of course, everybody everybody in the country, we want those high character kids. And at HBCU, you know, Tyree, sometimes we take chances on young men and young ladies that no one else in the country would take chance on because of maybe academic situations or their home life, or, you know, just various things that we take chances on student athletes, and we mold these kids to be respected human beings, because that's the main thing. You can't go out there on that track, on that cross country course, and dominate until you know for sure that you're a Class A person. You can't. There's no way you can do it. There's no way you can do it. And I mean, and it starts with us as coaches, and that's what I instill in my coaches. That number one, you know, we got to set the example. We have to follow the lead. Now, of course, we're not going to have everybody that's combined to our system, because it's just like in the system that we're in now with, you know, with our country. Everybody doesn't buy into it, but the ones that want to buy into it, and if we can save one, we done saved a million of them.
Man. Well, your institution is known as the Tidewater area of Virginia. And you have a new facility out in the area, indoor track, you know, so I know it's even better than that. You can really hone into what you're doing indoor, and make that transition into outdoor, where you don't have to worry about too much of the elements outside anymore, as you had to do in the past.
Well, yeah. I you know, I'll tell you one thing. We hit the jackpot when Virginia Beach decided to build an indoor facility to host the NCAA championships, and we were fortunate enough to be named as the host institution for the indoor championships. Actually, beginning with the Division II championships in March of this year. So you know, we get a chance to go there. It's almost like a home away from home, and we get a chance to train something that we didn't have that luxury in the past, but now we have that, and you know, we need to take advantage of it. It's an outstanding facility. We got a pre-national meet coming up in February. You know, everyone's invited. So you know, we looking for some outstanding performances. You know, great track. You know, Bynum Sports Surface track. So it's a great track.
Well, let's talk about you. How did you get into the sport and make your transition into the seat you're at now?
Well, you know, I tell you one thing, man. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I'm not a gambler, but I look at it like this: life a gamble itself. So I can't gamble twice. But you know, I've you know, it was a situation where the former coach here, Steve Riddick, he decided to go coach professionally, and I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and I was brought in along with my mentor Floyd Conley, and he taught me about, you know, a lot about coaching at this level, because I had never coached at this level, and you know, he just taught me how to do it right, how to do it the right way, and I learned from him. And when he passed on, unfortunately in 2003, that's when I was named the acting head coach, and then from there I went on from acting to interim, into being the full-time head coach, and then transitioning into the director position. And, you know, so I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and, you know, had someone like Coach Conley behind me who, as I said before, who taught me how to do it the right way.
Well, you've been doing it the right way ever since the accomplishments you've done, but then not only just on the track, you know, you've touched people's lives off the track as well. So, you know, what are some of the things that you can kind of incorporate from bringing a championship mindset, not only in the classroom, not only on the track, but yet in life?
Well, you know, and that's one thing that we want to do. We want we want to bring these student athletes into our program, and we want to touch them from a life perspective. I remember, I never forget, I recruited this young man, Keenan Harris, coach. And Keenan came into this program, and he said, Coach, I'm going to run my ass off for you for 4 years. Then I'm going into the military. I'm going to be an officer. And right now he's in the Air Force. He's an officer in the Air Force. He was in the Navy. He transformed from the Navy to the Air Force, and he's doing really well. Had another kid, Dominic Luca. Dominic Luca is one of the top kids in the country coming out of high school. In the 800, ran 150 coming out of high school. Everybody wanted him. Kid was phenomenal. And, but however, he had some issues academically. So we took a chance on him. And, I'll never forget the Vice President of Student Affairs, Larry Curtis, at the time. I had a great relationship with him. He told me, he said, Coach, if this don't work, don't you come ask me for another favor again. And I told him, I said, it's gonna work, man. Don't worry about it. And that's what we do. We take chances on kids. And Dominic Luca, he graduated from Norfolk State. Probably gonna be a Hall of Famer. He's in the Air Force Reserves. He's on the West Coast right now. I can tell a situation about young lady, Shanika Claiborne. Shanika Claiborne came out of high school, running like 11.5, 11.6 in the 100. Had some academic issues. We brought her in as a part-time student. Molded her into a respectful student athlete. She graduated, and now she's doing well for herself. So, I can go on and on, but that's why we're in the position that we're in now, to touch people's lives, on and off the track. Now, there's a responsibility as student athlete also, because they got to get out on that track and get it for us. but that's why we're here. That's exactly why we're here.
Man. Well, you've had some great people, and also your staff, man. Your staff has always been a reflection of who you are and what you're about. How did you come up with, or what do you look for when you're hiring your staff?
Well, number one, my main thing, coach, is loyalty. I've always told my coaches, you can find anybody out there that can coach, man. You look at the NFL, the NBA. You can go to enough coaching clinics, enough conventions, and all of that stuff to learn a particular discipline. But you can't teach loyalty. You can't teach trust. That's something you can't teach. That's something that got to be embedded in you. And you want someone that understand that it's student athletes first. It's student athletes first. It's not about us as coaches, because our time has gone. It came and it's gone. Now it's about the next group, bringing that next group in, to filter them out here in the real world so they can be productive citizens. And that's what I look at. Someone who has the making, where they can touch that student athlete and get the best out of that student athlete in the classroom and on the track. And someone that's going to be loyal to the program. I mean, those are the characteristics that I look for. I mean, of course, we want the best. I want the best individual that I can get. And I feel over the years, I've been fortunate to have a good staff, a staff that's been loyal to me, loyal to our student athletes, and loyal to the athletic department. And that's the only reason that we've had the success that we've had, because I've been able to construct a good staff and keep them together for a long period of time.
Well, you have a long lasting tenure there, so you're doing a lot of stuff right to last that long. In this track and field, back in the day, a lot of people lasted for a long time. Just because they're just you're sitting there, but yet with your accolades, you could go a lot of places, but yet you're still there at Norfolk State. What drives you to keep your mark there and keep it going, your legacy?
Well, you know, a lot of times, a lot of people think the grass is green on the other side. You know, that grass brown over there, just like it is here. And you got to make sure you have that right mixture. You got to aerate that grass. You got to put a little fertilizer in it and all of that stuff. You got to have a little fescue, Kentucky 31 or whatever, mix it together and find that right mixture. And I found the right mixture at Norfolk State, man. We've had a great administration, as I said before. Administration that's track friendly. A lot of times, track gets left behind as an Olympic sport or a non-revenue sport. We get left behind, but not at Norfolk State. So, I've been able, and we've been able as a staff to build a quality program because I have the backing of a great administration, and it starts like with our president, Dr. J, and Melody Webb, and admissions, Dr. Alexander, and all of them, and everybody, Gerald Hunter, and finance. It starts with everybody. It takes a complete team to build a quality program. You just can't do it. There's no way you can do it, Coach, just bringing in the right coaches and everything. You can't do it that way. You got to have the help and the backing of the administration. And it just can't be the athletic administration. It has to be the whole university as a whole. And I've been fortunate. I've been fortunate that I have that at Norfolk State. I've had opportunities, of course, to go elsewhere, but we got there's something about the water in this Hampton Roads area, man. That if we give a kid when they 10 years old a sip of this water, they turn out to be outstanding athletes, man. So we got a lot of good recruits in this area, and I like the water here.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will say, well, he won a lot of titles in the MEAC. I understand, the MEAC is and is fire, so there's always a lot of great athletes to come out there, but yet you just don't do it on a high level within the conference. You do it. You've had All-Americans, you've had point scored at the national championships. You're out there. It's not you're just like, okay, I'm just a conference champion type coach. You are a national coach, a national point getter at the national meet. So I think some people may not see that or understand that. But yet, yes, you have some things that you're trying to build for your conference championship because you're there to win. But yet at the same time, you're putting together a squad that's going to compete on the higher of high levels.
And that's what we look for. Our first and foremost goal is to win the conference championship. I mean, everybody have different objectives going into the season. Every program does. Our program, our first and foremost objective is to win our conference championship. And then what we want to do next is compete at the regional level. We want to compete at the regional level because in order to compete at the national level, you got to compete at the regional level first. And the regional level is just as tough as the national level. I mean, you got to get through that competitive Eastern region, in order to get to compete on the West Coast, And so, we try to find kids that's a great mixture that can compete at the conference level, and the MEAC is a great conference. The MEAC is an outstanding track and field conference. I think I've told the commissioner this, that I feel that track and field is a major player in this conference, and then they didn't disagree with me. And we find my philosophy is to find kids who can compete at the conference level, then find kids who can compete at the regional and can make it through the rounds and get to that national level, that final round. That's always been my philosophy, and I've been fortunate that we've had kids who can do that, And we got kids now in this program, in this 2023 program, that'll be at the final round. We got kids who'll be there. Yeah.
So when you look at the next step for Norfolk State University track and field, cross-country track and field programs, what does that look like for you?
That's a good question. I tell you, that's really a good question. And the next step for us is to with the NCAA championships in cross country being at University of Virginia in 2023, and that'll be a perfect idea for us to be hopefully, the first HBCU program in history that can compete at a national team championship in cross country. That's one of our goals. We got some great kids in the program. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. I do understand that. But I think our next step, that'll be our next step. And then, more so right now in the present, I would say probably it would be to hopefully get in that top 10 at the NCAA championships and during the outdoor season. That's always a big goal. And if we can get in that top 10, I think that'll be a great accomplishment for our program. I think that'll be a great accomplishment.
Looking at, just looking at your career and what you've accomplished, what Norfolk State has accomplished under your direction, what do you feel that you can do even more in growth? This sport is about growth all the time. So, even being a tenured coach for the years that you've been there, we're always something that we can grow upon. What are some things that you see as growth opportunities for self?
Well, I think growth opportunities for us and for myself would be number one, like what we did was what I did was write the bid, assist with Danny Tim in the city of Virginia Beach and writing the bid to get the NCAA championships to Norfolk State University. I mean, with being a host institution, allowing Norfolk State University to be the host institution to get the NCAA indoor championships to the city of Virginia Beach. So that's one of the things I think and we'll be the first HBCU to host to be the host institution for a national championship event, and I think that's a lot of growth in itself. We've last year we did a renovation, probably over $1 million renovation to our track and field facility. Which I mean, we have, we got the Bynum Sports Surface track down there, same surface that they have at University of North Florida, that's hosting regionals this year, same surface that they have at University of Texas in Austin. So, we have a great set of facilities and everything, and then build a complete staff. Where we got NCAA allotted number of coaches, which is I think it's 6 coaches, paid coaches, and quality volunteers and everything. So I think that's the next step because that's going to help the growth of this program right here. That's going to help the growth of the program right there. And I think at all time as a coach and as an administrator, you got with track and field, you got to find alternative ways to bring in revenue. Mm-hmm. You got to try to make our sport a revenue producing sport. I mean, so I think those are some short-term goals, some intermediate goals, and I wouldn't say long-range goals, but just maybe goals that's probably maybe a year or so down the road.
Okay. Well, I know of competing against you as a coach. I watch, one of the things when I was in the MEAC was watching every coach, watching every head coach, or watching what they do, and then I watch assistant coaches too. But yeah, you have energy. When I'm watching you at the beats, you have this energy. You have this stoic look, but then you have this cheerful look and everything. But yet you're energized, and I think your athletes. I watch your athletes and how they interact with you. Your energy goes in, leaves you, goes to them, or transfers over to them. But yet, the competitive nature of you, but then the fun part of you, and it's a great combination. And that's one of the things I enjoyed watching. And so, how do you keep those complexities especially during a championship run at the meets? How do you keep those natures in check?
Well, during the championship time, we all got them little butterflies that go through us. We get a little nervous, and especially we don't know. We putting our livelihood and our faith and everything in 18 to 24-year-olds. I mean, so we don't know how their mind think, and sometimes you just you want to try to think on their level. You got to have the energy that they have. You always want to be in a position where you say, I can learn. Because when you get, I look at it like when you think that you can't learn no more, then that's when you've lost it. Then you've lost it. So I think as long as you still have the ability to learn, and these kids can teach you just as much as we can teach them, and we can come together on a common goal. I think that's one of the main ingredients, and just making it fun, and having that energy like Pete Carroll and some of the other coaches out there that may be a little older, but they're still productive, out there on the sidelines and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, you've heard from the maestro right here of the MEAC. Everything he's done it all. Winning cross country championships, having the sweep of indoor and outdoor and cross country. You're doing the trifecta approach, and he's done it like no other. He's a man of great integrity, great passion, great love for the sport, love for his staff, love for his administration. You heard it here. Love for his administration. And they support him in all that he's doing with the program, and success breeds at Norfolk State University under the direction of Coach Kenneth Giles. Man, I thank you for coming on this program, and I want you to. We're not done. We're not done right now, but I want you to talk about to think people you might think that they might need to know, or what makes a championship program tick, what they can do to assist building of that program, and then also you can shout out a lot of your mentors or people you looked up to, or anything that you want to say. So I'm leaving this time to you.
Well, I look at it like this, Coach. Anybody that want to know what it takes to build a championship program, as I said, you gotta have the backing of your staff. I mean, your administrative staff, and that's the higher administrative staff at the collegiate level. You got to have that backing, and once you got that backing, then you got to put together a good coaching staff. You got to put together a coaching staff where you can cover as many disciplines as possible. You got some programs that focus on sprints. You got some that focus on jumps. You got some that focus on distance, some focusing on the throws and everything like that. I know when you was at Bethune, Coach, your jumpers were great. You had your sprinters and everything, and I knew you all was a well-rounded program. You all were going to score in every area. Every area you had someone in, and it wasn't an area that Bethune wasn't gonna have, no one in when Cooper and Price were together. And I knew that. So I said, well, one thing I told my staff, I said, look now, we got to make sure, because Bethune got people here, they got people there. So when you building a program, a lot of it is just based on your philosophies, but at the same time, you got to make sure that you cover every discipline. You can be stronger in other areas, but you want to cover as many as possible. And I think that'll help out a lot. And you get and get together a staff that just with some people that you can trust, some people you can trust, some people you can help you recruit, and I think that'll go a long way in building some success. As far as people that made an impact, in my career, it of course it starts at the top with the former presidents and athletic director, especially Marty Miller. I definitely have to give him a big shout out. And of course Melody Webb and Dr. J. They've had a big impact. I've had great relationships with the admissions department. Dr. Alexander. And that's one thing, relationships, building relationships with people, because when you have positive relationships with people and people respect you, that goes a long way. Transportation, you look at, you got to take care of the bus drivers. They like gear just like everybody else. So it's it's certain people you got to take care of, and I've been fortunate that the transportation department at Norfolk State, I have a great relationship with Janet Jones down there, and she's helped us out. So there's a lot of pieces that has to fall together in order for your program to be successful. As I said before, it's just not one or two things. It's a making of a lot, and building relationships. Building relationships is key. You got to have those great relationships. If not, it's gonna fall apart. Yeah.
Well said. And Coach Kenny Giles, Director of Cross Country Track and Field, Norfolk State University. Man, great pleasure of being on here. USTFCCCA. This guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's get it together now. We got to give him that. MEAC, Hall of Fame. Hey, this guy right here is a standard of excellence. And I say give people their flowers. Don't wait till the end. Give it to him now where he can enjoy it in this moment. And so I want to thank you again, Coach Giles, man. It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy having conversations with you. Always enjoy watching you compete and your athletes compete. You are a standard of excellence. You are the embodiment of the making of champions. And I thank you for being a part of the program.
Well, I tell you, thanks. Like I said, I tell Stephen A. Smith, I don't need to be on First Take, man. I done made it now. I've been on the makings of the champions, man. Shoot, I'm good now, And I tell you, it takes talent to win, but it takes character to repeat. And when you got that character and you got that character in your program, that goes a long way, because you can do it one time, but in order to just constantly be at that mountaintop, hosting those trophies, I don't care what level it is, it takes a lot of character, and it takes a lot of character from the student athlete, the coaching staff, and I have an outstanding coaching staff now. I just brought in Ernest Barrett, who was just at A&T doing their outstanding run that they had. Jerry Price, who's been with me a little over 10 years, and then one of my former student athletes, Ashante Matthews, she just came in. So, we're building a great staff together, and without their help, we couldn't, we definitely wouldn't be on here talking about the success that we're going to have in the future.
Well, you got it. And, it takes the brain trust from up top. That's you to bring it, have the vision, and so that those other coaches can go out and spread the word of your vision and get things accomplished. So, yes, all your student athletes are well praised, and also your coaching staff. I know them very well. Very good people. I love to see them compete. I love to see them coaching as well. You have really derived a strong program that's going to last for years to come. Coach Kenneth Giles, Director of Track and Field Cross Country at Norfolk State University. For all of you out there, I hope you took a lot from this information that was shared. If you don't, you see Coach Giles out there. He's an approachable guy, and he will joke around here and there, but yet he'll also have a lot of nuggets to give out. If you pay attention, that's the key. Pay attention to what he's spitting out, and you will have very successful program at your institution. Again, this is the Making a Champion Season 4. Coach Kenny Giles, thank you very much. For all you others, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.